Video for the Hobby Details 1.9 aluminum beadlock crawler wheels, 4-piece set. These ones are in red detail ring with black. In comparison to what comes on the stock RTR TRX-4, 1.9 plastic glued is the distance that we have from the back of the mounting flange to the inside of the rim is 7 millimeter. So you can call that a 7 millimeter offset from the back of your hex to the inside of the rim. On the Hobby Details, we're minus 2 millimeters. So we're down to 5 millimeter from the back of this mounting flange to the inside of the rim. So seating this on the stock hex, it's a bit tricky. It was a bit snug at first. I've done this a couple of times. Once we find that locking position, it does wiggle on with a bit of patience. I think this one here, there we go. I had to turn it the right way, but it will seat down. And then once that flanged hex nut goes on, you should be able to carry it home and seat it firmly. I've found an alternative mounting solution for the Hobby Details 1.9 aluminum beadlocks going on to the Traxxas hex. This part number from Traxxas seems to be a little bit looser of a fit, or I should say a better fitment. That one drops in nicely, not a lot of slop at all. That click you hear is the wheel itself, but that drops in nicely and looks like a smooth exchange if you're popping wheels on and off. So I'm getting around to mounting the Hobby Details 1.9 aluminum beadlocks onto some RC four-wheel drive Milestar Patagonias. These wheels, I was a bit concerned out of the box, you know, for the rig I'm mounting them on, or the bag I should say, but for the rig that I'm mounting them on. Like all of you, forgive my language, but I fucking hate mounting beadlocks. One thing I've discovered is with these, they are actually a 5-piece. So with some rims, it's a 2-piece. Sometimes you get a 3-piece. These are an actual 5-piece. You've got the rim itself. You have your mount for your hex. You've got your inner sleeve inside the tire. You got your finishing ring, and then you've got your rear inner ring. So what I've discovered in doing this, and I'm gonna have a go at it, I'm gonna stop the video after I talk about this, but the depth of these wheels, like any beadlock, is quite narrow compared to the tire that you typically mount them on. So in my frustration, I was like, well, I get tired with these big hands trying to squish the tire, trying to funky monkey with the beads and the locks and the rims and all that crap. So I discovered that what I was going to do then is I took off the back of the rim, which has a deeper flange to it, so I can seat it better, and then it'll actually bolt up right down in there. And I drew the front of the rim up to the bead. So I'm gonna get that rim, or the finishing trim, mounted on first, push that through, flip the tire, and then seat the inner rim on, and again, give you a report after that. Okay, follow-up video to where I just left off with these Hobby Details wheels. So I did exactly what I said I would do. I mounted the trim rim on top of that bead, seated it to the outer face of the rim, and then what I did is the inside here, the rim and the sleeve I pushed forward, so pushing, I guess, from the front through to the back, bringing the rubber bead closer to where I needed to seat it, and then set it on top, just any old, you know, spray can here, just so it had a nice little fit, and put pressure on the actual wheel itself. And then by pushing down, just setting the screws into their holes, not taking them home, putting all 5 in, and then equally depressing as I went down. And that seemed to work really good. It seems to be holding quite well. Looking forward to getting them mounted, and it didn't take me that long at all. So my first overall impression of the Hobby Details 5-piece 1.9s at least, I didn't lose my shit. I think my wife and kids are still talking to me, which is a good thing, and I can mount these and continue to enjoy the hobby. All right, I just finished mounting the Hobby Details 1.9 aluminum beadlocks. 0 issues. First one was a bit sketch, learning the 5-piece wheel, and number 2 went a little easier, number 3 was a breeze, and then number 4 was a piece of cake. There's even some screws left over. It looks like a baker's half a dozen of the small 1.5s, and then 2 left of the 2.5 mils. So next thing to do is get these mounted on the Traxxas TRX-4 Bronco and take them for a burn. Okay, so the Hobby Details 1.9 beadlocks are now mounted on the TRX-4 Bronco edition. Stock, nothing has been done to this rig yet. Based on the ride height, I will be installing a lift kit. I do like the look of these. There's a little bit of clearance issues. And as mentioned in the previous video, there is a little bit of mounting finagling you got to do. So when these drop onto the hex on both front and rear, I did not change it out to that Traxxas part number I showed you earlier. All I did was just rotate the tire or wheel until it fit snugly on the hex, and then seated it, and then just drove it home with the nut. Other than that, really impressed with those. And I can't wait to take it out for a little bit of a test drive and a little bit of a crawl. So as you can see here, I'll flip the rig over. No issues whatsoever in terms of clearance on the back of the wheel with the portal axles. So hope this helps. All right, just took the TRX-4 for a little burn with those Hobby Details 1.9 aluminum beadlock wheels. Now I got dirt in my rims. Now I got to clean the thing. Oh well. They held up really good. 2-speed transmission on this, so I did a little bit of crawling. It's been a while since I've done it. I got to get better at it. No spin, no tire issues. Everything held good on the beadlocks. And it's a good seal, which means the air stays in it. These are non-vented, which I like. That means your foam, your crawler foams, the extra money you spend on those memory foams, they don't get wrecked inside the wheel. So anyways, worth the money. They don't suck.